All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another video on update on Bitcoin today. I'm also going to go ahead and cover XRP, Solana, and Atom. So we had some important developments happen in Bitcoin today, and we got quite the pumpage for Bitcoin today. We ended up breaking this range here that we've been trading in since December 24th. And last Thursday, when we pumped to the top of this range, you can see we got a pretty clear rejection. It was also our pitchfork band, which I have hidden on my charts right now, but I've shown you guys that in many videos. And then on Friday, we were able to bust above the band and close Friday's New York, or just close the whole markets on Friday above this. And so on my Saturday video, I talked about a smaller time frame descending channel that we were kind of trading in. I can make that channel for you guys real quick. And I talked about how we can expect Bitcoin to do low volume ranging, how it often does over the weekends. And we were looking for one key back test. So the channel was from this high to this low, first low here. You can see we were looking for a key back test of what used to be resistance. Now flip it to support, because in any healthy market, when you have a big resistance with multiple confluences, as this value area high and anchor VWAP was, when you come up to it and you finally flip it, you bust above it, you want to look for a retest of it to flip it to support to continue higher. And so if you see what happened over the weekend, we were just ranging within this descending channel here, and I had this purple box of support drawn on my charts because it was also the local golden pocket from this pull here to this high here, that just a local 1 hour golden pocket. And if we were going to continue bullish market structure, we would want to see the value area high, the anchor VWAP, and the golden pocket, the local golden pocket hold. So over the weekend, we just kind of chopped here all weekend with low volume like I expected. And then we came down and we hit directly into the box of support. I did long this. I longed a little bit late because I wanted to make sure it was going to hold. So I think I longed at 98K. And then we got our pump up earlier this morning. Actually, I think it was last night. We pumped right to the swing failure pattern highs of this range, which I talked about taking a short from this swing failure pattern here, if and only if we got the confirmed swing failure pattern. So remember, for a swing failure pattern, you want to see the price action, the candle wick above that level, stop out all the trades, and then close at or below the candle, and then you'll see a dump. And we did not see that early. So we got a front run of that. Anytime you get a front run this close of an SFP, it's less likely to work when you actually do come up to it. Now, earlier today, we were looking for the SFP of this 99.9 into like 102 to 104K. Well, you can see right away in this big 30-minute volume candle here, we exploded through it, didn't see an SFP, and we even kept pumping right away up to like 100K, 100.8K. And so that signaled to me right away, no short. There's no short there. We didn't get our confirmations to enter the trade. So we just continued to watch price action, and we looked for our next level of resistance. And I covered this level of resistance, I think it was like in 4 or 5 videos ago, but I talked about this level of resistance being the golden pocket. So actually, let me zoom out to the 4-hour chart. And if we look at the golden pocket, golden pockets are always good to look at from the all-time highs to our low that we created. You can see that we pumped straight to the golden pocket. But also, if we do our channel, our ascending channel that we've been in since November 11th, the same ascending channel that I've been talking about for weeks on my chart, I also said it was the bearish backtest of the channel on higher time frames, because we got it very low time frame, then we got it medium time frame. Now this is our high time frame backtest of this channel, and it's also in confluence with the golden pocket. We also had a naked daily up there, I believe was right up there. Let's see. Yes, so we had that as well. And you can see we're in that resistance as we speak. So there's a couple things I want to show you guys here on this chart. Let me turn this indicator off. We didn't get the, so this white line here that I have across is just, I just marked out the value area high of the entire range since November 11th. So if we go the price action of this entire ascending channel all the way to present day, you can see the value area high. Oh, it actually switched a little bit today off this pump, but it was right down here earlier today. Now we can actually move that to up here, because if we see a back test, just like with this this value area high here on lower time frames, we busted above it, we saw the back test of it, it held as support, and we continued higher. So now what we need to be doing is looking at this larger one here to see if it's going to hold as support and it will continue higher. Now, this is a higher time frame level of resistance, and we do need to watch for a little bit of consolidation here over maybe a few hours, maybe overnight, and come back tomorrow morning. We could back test this and hold and then continue higher, and the 104 would be our next level to be looking at. Or if we drop back through it, come up, back test it bearishly, and re-enter the value area of this bigger range here since November 11th, we can look for more downside. We can actually look around this POC here, which is close to these other highs. We can do a couple things to figure that out. We can do a fib pull from our lows that we had on Saturday, I believe. Here, we can bring it to our highs right now, and it looks like our golden pocket's a little bit above there. Let's look at our 786. So our 786 is what I'd be looking at in confluence with the big range POC, around 98.4. Now, that's only if we break this level here, this value area high here, because this value area high right now is still important support until we're above it. Let's look at the 382, because the 382 often acts as support and resistance in a strong trend. So let's go to the 382 and look at that. The 382 is right around that value area high. So this box right here now is going to be our first level of local support, just like the purple box down below on the chart was our first level of support. Now this is our first level of support here. So we need to be looking at this box here. Just like this box, the flip of our lower range value area high. Now we're trying to flip our big range value area high. One thing that is a little bit concerning for here, and I did talk about, I don't think a new all-time high is coming just yet. I do think this is part of a larger correction, like an ABC correction to the downside, with the A starting at the all-time high, the B wave, and then the C wave. That was wrong, but down to here. And then our C wave could be around 85 to 83K. We would have to pull a trend-based fib extinction to find that one-to-one target. We could do that in just a bit. But I do think that either this or even up to 104K, we could pump all the way up to 104K in our correction. If we break 104K, we're most likely coming for all-time highs. But I do think that this whole thing here has been part of a correction, a B wave of a correction. And one of the ways we can look at that is you go to your volume. So let's do that. We'll put our volume on here, and you can see on the move down, we had a big increase in volume here on our move down. Now, on our sideways price action here, we have had some spikes, but you can see most of the spikes are red spikes here. We see volume overall kind of decreasing as we're moving up. Now, this big breakout here today is interesting, and we did have a big green candle followed by a big red candle there. So, it's gonna be, we're just gonna have to watch this local range that we're forming now, and I'll zoom in on that in just a second. One thing I do see here, no bear divs on the 4-hour time frame here. You know, we're making higher highs in the momentum waves and higher highs here, so no bear divs. You'd want to see lower highs in the momentum waves. And look at the money flow here. The money flow is just coming up aggressively and looks very strong. So we might only get a pullback to retest the value area high in the 382 around 100.4, 100.5. And then we might continue higher to 104K. Just based off of money flow, how strong it looks on the 4-hour. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. Let's look at 1 hour. 1 hour still looks pretty good. No bear divs on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. 2-hour money flow is starting to curve over. We don't have bear divs though. So overall, Bitcoin is looking strong, even though we are at a higher time frame resistance right now, and we could look for a little bit of a pullback from here. Overall, Bitcoin is looking really strong. Now, let me zoom in here, and I'm going to show you guys this bearish backtest of this channel that I've been talking about, because you can see we rejected almost perfect from the channel here, and we've tried, we hit it here. We actually hit it. We rejected pretty much right away. We hit it 3 times here on the 15-minute chart. Every single time we got rejected from it. Now, we almost came up to it again just very recently, about 30 minutes ago, right at close here. 15 minutes ago, this 15-minute candle just opened, and we are still seeing us consolidate now within this little range here. So I'm going to go into this range in just a second here, but we are at the higher time frame backtest of this ascending, the ascending channel, the backtest of it. We can just keep watching this this here for that. And we are still above the POC. Another thing I did see earlier that was kind of a tell on Bitcoin is I was looking at a different parallel channel. I was looking at this parallel channel here, and you could see that when we came down to the bottom, actually I made it from the bottom of the channel, but we came down to our purple box of support. We got our first bounce, and then we were starting to create higher lows and higher highs on this price action here. We're seeing bullish market structure. So I just made a channel from this low here to this higher low, and then I bring it up to this high. And earlier today, we rejected, remember this was right before the swing failure pattern at 99.9. We front ran that swing failure pattern just barely, came down to the POC, held the POC, but rejected from the midline, came down to the POC again and the bottom of the channel. As soon as we hit the bottom of the channel, we exploded to the upside. So it was showing me that we were still respecting the trend, and that this higher time frame POC as well as the lower time frame value area high held, and we were going to see higher price targets. We did not get the swing failure pattern into the 100.4. If we go to this chart here, we were looking at this. Let me get rid of this. Let me clean this up just a bit. So we were looking at the range since December 24th to present day. Not this range. From this low here, just the price action within this channel here. This channel that I created from the two lows and this high here. And you could see even over the weekend here, we busted above it. We back tested it and we continued higher. But when we got to the top of our channel here, which was also, I was looking for a swing failure pattern of this high here into the top of the channel. You can see we front ran the swing failure pattern just barely. It looks like on Bybit, it was an equal high. No, it was just barely a front run there. And then we came down, and then we had this huge volume increasing candle. We busted up past the swing failure pattern high, past the top of the channel very quickly. I think it was a 15-minute candle or 30-minute candle that we busted through all of that. Yeah, see this 15-minute candle? We busted all the way up here to 101.3 almost in this one candle. So that gave us the signal. No swing failure pattern, no short trade. I did not take the short trade based off of that. And I waited for the next level, which was the golden pocket around 101.9 to 102.3 is where we're at right now. Now we've hit that resistance, but we are starting to consolidate here. And actually this looks kind of bullish, like bullish consolidation to me, partly based off the money flow. Yes, we are seeing some, actually that's not even bear divs because we're making lower lows here. So what we can be looking at now is we can go from our highs from earlier today here. We can look at sort of a triangle that we're seeing here, a symmetrical triangle that we're kind of forming and trading in right now. Now, after a pump, this could be seen as a bull pivot. You can see our big explosive move to the upside was increase in volume here. And since the pivot has been forming, volume has been decreasing. So we have volume confirmation on what you consider a bull flag or a bull pivot with the volume explosion in the pull. So Bitcoin is forming a valid pattern, a bullish continuation pattern. And a bullish continuation pattern is when you pump, you start to consolidate, and then you pump out of the pattern as well. And that's what it looks like we're seeing right now. We could start to form a much larger range here, maybe for a day or two at this golden pocket. But right now, Bitcoin is looking pretty strong here. And we are just chopping within this pattern. So you can do a fixed range volume profile pull of this pattern here. I would put it at the end of the impulse or just at this last candles when you could start it to present day. And you can see for the most part, value area high keeps rejecting us here. Value area low keeps holding us. This volume is not the best yet, this fixed range volume profile, just because this pattern is so new, or this range is so new. But we can still trade this range here. And you can trade this pattern even here if you'd like to. Of course, you'd want to see other confirmations with that. No bear divs. We have not seen any bear divs. Money flow looks strong, so Bitcoin looks like it's going to continue higher from here. We are at a higher time frame resistance. We need to watch for that. But right now, Bitcoin's looking pretty strong. So that's the update for Bitcoin today. I think there's not too much more to cover. If you guys did take the long of the bullish back test of this first support level that I talked about here on Coinbase over the weekend, I just saw the bullish continuation, bullish consolidation that we saw here over the weekend. And when we came down to that and we got the instant reaction off of that, that's when it gave me the signal that, okay, I'm going to start looking for a long. So what I did is I didn't long the first touch of the support. I waited and I got in. If you do a fib pull from high to low here of this, just this little first push up, you go to the golden pocket here, and you can see when we wicked into the golden pocket, that's when I longed it right here. Put your stop down below this low here just in case. And then that's when we just continued the move up. I did take 90%, I think it was 85% of my profits out at 1023 exactly. So I'm still in that long, but most of my profits have been taken just because this is a higher time frame resistance where we're at, and I wanted to secure some profit. I have not shorted this yet. I did attempt to short earlier, but I got stopped out on it. And so I'm just waiting now. All right, that's Bitcoin. Let's go into Ethereum, because also Ethereum, we had some key things happen on Ethereum. So let me zoom out here onto the 2-hour chart. And let me clean this up. All right, so Ethereum, I had a couple levels that we were looking at the last time I did analysis on Ethereum. You can see we had this ascending channel that we were in. Now, I did cover this in yesterday's video because I forgot to make this in Saturday's video when I did an update on it. But we were just trading with it. We've been trading kind of within this sideways range here, almost like that triangle breakout that I showed you on Saturday's video. And when we busted this anchored VWAP and the band, the pitchfork band, you can see this light green here. We rejected the first time, then we busted it to the upside on Friday, just like Bitcoin busted its range as well. And since then, now Bitcoin was forming over the weekend a descending channel down to our support. On the other hand, Ethereum's just been forming an ascending channel to our resistance. We never came back down to test this support, which was a shame because I was planning on longing the support. Remember, this was the purple box I had on Sunday's video based off of we had our prior highs there. We had a local golden pocket there. Now this golden pocket we need to move this golden pocket higher because we've hit higher into the charts. And then we also had the back test of our pitchfork band there. So we never came down to that level. It's kind of a shame that we never did that. I never got my alert, so I never took along there. But we did pump right into our purple box of resistance, and we are starting to see a little bit of a rejection here. We also had, now I found this channel after I made the video yesterday, but I was looking at this ascending channel here, and let me zoom in onto the 30-minute chart. And you can see this ascending channel. I just pulled it from this high to this high here, and then I bring it down to this first low. And we've been trading in this ascending channel. You can see the midline's been really respected, and also the bottom's been respected. But earlier today, we bounced off the bottom of the ascending channel, and then we pumped way up to our purple box of resistance. But look at also where we stopped our pump. We stopped our pump exactly at the top of the channel as well, like to the dollar. So I did take a short from there. I did take half of it out at the midline just because it looked bullish. We did end up losing the midline, come down to the VWAP, held the VWAP, pumped up to the midline, rejected the midline now, and now we're just kind of chopping and forming a range here. So most of the time, these ascending channels will break to the downside, so we still do need to be watching this area down here. But if Bitcoin keeps pumping and breaks this golden pocket, Ethereum is most likely to continue as well. What we can do is we can do a fixed range volume profile pull of the range within the ascending channel here. Now, what this shows me right away is that it is holding above the value area high. We broke the volume range, the fair value of this range. We came back down here. You can see we wicked below it, but we never closed any candles below it, even on the 30-minute time frame. Even though we're rejected from the midline, we're kind of still holding above this now. So we could be looking for a couple things here. If you think this bigger box of purple resistance is going to hold, and we did front run the 0.65. Earlier today with Bitcoin, I was waiting for the 0.65, the yellow part of the golden pocket, to hold the top of it. So we could see a sort of swing failure pattern of today's highs here. We could see an SFP into the top of the channel again, and into the top of this 0.65 golden pocket here. That would be a nice trade I'd be looking for. Now, you're only going to take the short is if you hit the top here and you reject and you close like a 5 to 12 minute candle below this level here. Then you would enter the short at or below, right below this channel, and you'd put your stop. So you'd wait for the, wrong one. You'd wait for the swing failure pattern to actually confirm. You'd put your stop below the high, and then you'd bring your take profit down to, you could do TP1 again at this value area high. That's a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio, or you could even bring it down further based off of higher time frame analysis. So let's go into that higher time frame analysis. Let me get rid of these now. So we are rejecting from the purple box of resistance. It was already a nice scalp. We can redo our fib pulls here. So this golden pocket here is from this low to our, now I got to adjust it. I did adjust it to our new high here. Let me just go back. That was already at that level. And we have our golden pocket. That's that golden pocket there. Let's look at the 786 of this now. All right, so our 786 is still within this purple box here. So I still do think this box is a decent support level still. It's our prior highs, which oftentimes when you break a high, you'll come back down to retest them. It is still, most importantly to me, the pitchfork band. The green, light green line you see here is the pitchfork band that we broke to the upside. We never came back down to retest that band to flip it to support. So I still would be looking for a move down to here to test it to support. And also, once we really broke this anchored VWAP from its highs at 4,100, we never came back down to retest this anchored VWAP. So this box of support is our bigger box of support to be looking at. Now, if we want to look at just this local price action here, we can take the lows of this price action, the lows of this little range here. And let's see, our 786 is a little bit above our value area low. Let's look at our golden pocket here. All right, that looks pretty good, you guys. So our golden pocket is right at the POC of this ascending channel range here. So if we get a move back down to about 36, 37 here, you could look for a long from this area if bullish market structure is going to continue. Now, it is a little bit below our ascending channel, so we might see a fake out dump of the ascending channel into this and then continue to pump higher. But right now, as of right now, the value area high is still holding, and we can't expect us to continue pumping higher. I still like this SFP into the 0.65, which is around 37.57 to like 37.60-ish, 67. That would be a nice area to look at. A lot of this is going to depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin does start to reject from this golden pocket, then we can expect Ethereum to probably break this ascending channel to the downside and come down to these lows here around 35.11 to like 35.20-ish. So that's what I'd be looking for on Ethereum. The midline of this is still much higher, I believe. Yeah, much, much higher. So we've got many levels to look at before that. If we do continue to the upside, let's zoom out here onto the 4-hour chart. We do have our 786 here aligning kind of with this order block up here. Yeah, there's not much confluence there. Let's see here. Fair value gaps. We also hit into this fair value gap here on that wick that we hit. All right, so we just started a new week. So I was looking at weekly pivot points earlier today. And one thing we can see, let's zoom back into the 1-hour chart here. You can see our weekly pivot point, and these are Fibonacci pivot points. I like those the best. You can see our R2 Fibonacci pivot. R2 means just resistance 2. That's our second resistance of the weekly pivot points. It's right at the top of the channel, and it's right at that 0.65 level, close to this SFP. So that, and then if we do break it, we have our R3 right above the 786. Now, I don't like, if we break the 786, I think we're probably going to come for the highs there. So I guess you could consider this a box of resistance, but it's not the strongest box, to be honest. If we break this golden pocket, this bigger purple box where we're at now, I do think we can come up to take the 4,100 highs or even higher, up to like the pitchfork midline around 42.67, depending on how long it takes. Higher, depending on how long. All right, so that's Ethereum. I know this chart looks really messy right now. Next up, we're going to go to Solana. Actually, let me do this. Okay, so last time I checked Solana, it was a couple weeks ago in a video, and I was talking about how we kept holding this pitchfork here that we broke to the upside. When you come down, when you break a pitchfork bullishly like this, and then you keep holding it as support. So, and it was also the value area high of this range here from really the end of the impulse, and we were doing the sideways consolidation like Bitcoin was since December 24th. This one was actually, this is a long range. This is from March of 2024. So from the March highs, we've been kind of trading within this. We finally broke it to the upside. Yeah, this is on the daily, so this is much higher time frame. Broke it to the upside. This is when we came and took the all-time high just barely. The last all-time highs were, I do believe, like 269, 261, and we pumped to 269, I believe. So we took those all-time highs, we swing failed the all-time highs, and we saw a drop back down to back test the value area high of this bigger range that we've been trading in for months. And you can see that we kind of held the pitchfork midline, or the top of the pitchfork, the bullish retest of the pitchfork and the value area high, and now we're pumping. Let's zoom in here. Let me get rid of this now. Let's hide this stuff. All right, so let's zoom in just here on this price action here. First thing we could do is a fib pull from the high to the low. We've got our golden pocket coming up. We haven't hit the golden pocket yet like we have on Bitcoin. And then we could do our golden pocket pull from the low to the current highs here. I do like the 786 on this one. The 786 is going to be aligning with the value area high again, so that looks nice. And I did see a descending channel here, but it looks like we just broke it here. Let's see if we do that. Yeah, we were kind of in this descending channel. Okay, so let's zoom in on this real quick. Okay, so nicely respected descending channel. You can see the midline's been respected very well all through here. Just over the weekend, it looks like on Friday here. Yep, on Friday when Bitcoin busted above our range, it broke out of the descending channel, and then all weekend long, it was kind of coming down to back test the channel to see if it was going to hold its support to pump higher. And over the weekend, it looked like it did hold support, and now we're pumping higher. We're making new highs, which is what you want to see when you see a back test of a channel. Oftentimes with larger time frame channels like this, when you break them out, you'll see a lower time frame back test, and then you can see a pretty big impulse to the upside. So what I'd be looking for now on Solana is the big bump and then something up to this golden pocket here, maybe even higher than the golden pocket. What we can do, let's do a volume profile pull of just like from here, this time we broke the value area high for the first time, up to all the price action that we were ranging above the big range value area high. All right, and now let me get rid of this one so you guys can see more clear. Okay, so value area high rejected this a couple times, came down to the value area low. Looks like this is being respected pretty well. We were holding below the value area low for a while. We rejected once, rejected twice. This was that kind of sideways consolidation that Ethereum was seeing as well, almost a sort of triangle breakout like I showed you guys in that video. This one was more of a ascending triangle. Anyways, we broke up to the value area high, rejected from it, but we're able to hold the back test of the channel, and now we're pumping. We're breaking the POC, but we're back testing it on really low time frames right now. We're back testing it to see if it's going to hold. So we're right at the POC right now. So the POC is like the fair value of the asset within that range. It's the fairest value you can get. We're also at the VWAP, which is another fair value for the asset. So there's really no trade here. Money flow does look good here on the 15-minute chart. Let's zoom back out onto the daily chart here. Okay, so money flow doesn't look the best. It doesn't look bad though. It is still decreasing here, and our momentum wave looks like it's starting to get close to a top out here. Let's look at the 786 of this range here. All right, so we have the 786 of this retrace from this low to the high we just made today is the back test of our big range POC from March to present day. So at 185.5, that's actually where I talked about my last support level in the video I made a couple weeks ago of Solana. But our resistance that I'd be really watching, especially if we can break this POC here, is the value area high of our daily range into the 786 here at 245. So 245, we also do have that internal liquidity grab. Remember, on descending channels, I talk about the second pivot. The liquidity of the second pivot is always important on descending channels or channels in general. So our second pivot, SFP, is right here as well. Liquidity right here. So we have that 245 to 247 range looking really good as a box of resistance right now that I would be watching. That's our next major level that I'd be watching, is kind of this area here. Now we still are in the process of testing this POC on higher time frames. So we could reject from this POC. If we do, we'd be looking down. I mean, there's a couple levels we could be looking at. If this is to remain bullish, we can go to our 382. Often acts as strong trend. That's from this low to this high here. Our 382 is close to our value area low. It's also close to our prior highs. You can see our prior highs twice here and here on the daily. Those were two daily highs, our prior highs. So those are at the value area low there. We can look for this box is our first box of support here. It also, depending on how long it took, kind of be more back test on this channel here. So that's 204 to 202 is a level you could be watching for local support. Local resistance, 245 to 247. And then if we break that, we're going to be in price discovery again for the asset. So let's zoom out here onto the weekly. That's the pitchfork we just broke. All right, so let's check this out here. Now that we're breaking this pitchfork that you can see was so well respected on the weekly time frame, and we're holding it to the upside, what we can do is we can change this to a original pitchfork now to get price. That's too high. Okay, that's too steep. That's not going to work. Let's put that back down to modified. And let's check the other pitchfork here. Let's bring, and you can see this smaller pitchfork too from the other week, the weekly low to this high to this low. It's really being respected on the back test as well. You can see how many times on the weekly we wick down to it, but it's been holding multiple times on the weekly. So we can take this pitchfork, and now let's try changing this to an original pitchfork. That's not going to work either. All right, so that's not going to work there. We could do if this is sort of an impulsive price action here, like a 5-wave impulse to the upside. If you in Elliott waves, you see 5-wave pulse. So our first impulse there, actually, I would probably do second impulse, third impulse here, fourth correction, and then we get our fifth target, depending on what the fifth is. Now you could move this if this is like a flat correction or expanded flat here, something like that. What is this 357? Oh, this 357 is a target sell level that I had from prior TA. So that's a level we could be looking for our fifth wave to end, actually. if we do see this impulse continue to the upside. Let's zoom back in onto the daily. Let me just hide this for now. And let's zoom in on very local price action. Let's see here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Now, we're still at the POC right now, and we are not breaking it on the daily, so we need to keep watching for a possible rejection from where we're at. But just like with Bitcoin, we were kind of consolidating in this smaller range after a big impulsive dump to the downside. Bitcoin broke its high, which was 99.9. For Solana, it was at 202. So we can watch for a back test of that to come down to that, to flip that, and that's where our first purple box of support is. If we do a fib pull, let's see here, from this high. Oh, come on. Down to the lows. All right, this is also the golden pocket that we're at now for the intermediate pull. So this could be an area actually where we do see a rejection from, because it is the golden pocket and it's the POC of our range, of our volume or price action that we've been in since above the really big range since March. Descending channel. I do see a possible ascending channel here as well, just on this 2-hour time frame. So if we go from these lows here, I'm going to go to this one here, and we bring it up to the highs of the local range here. Yeah, okay, now we're at the top of our 2-hour ascending channel. You can see just from this low to this low here, bring it up to the highs of, if you can see, like Bitcoin was forming a sideways range for a bit. We were also forming this sideways range. We broke it to the upside. That was on Thursday. So it did it a day before Bitcoin broke its range. But this range here, you base this ascending channel based off this range. We're continuing the price action to the upside. We're hitting the golden pocket of our intermediate pull as well as the top of the channel. You can see the top of the channels really worked nicely 2 times here. Hit here, rejected, hit here, rejected. Our midline is getting kind of close. So if we do think Bitcoin and these alts are going to continue very bullishly, we can just be looking at this price action here. And we could do a fib pull from the lows here to the highs. All right, this is kind of nice here, actually. If they're very local support here, we do have the swing failure pattern of this morning's lows. I do believe it was this morning, or actually it wasn't this morning. It was Sunday's lows. So Sunday's lows, weekend price action. If you do form lows on the weekend, oftentimes you will come back to take out those lows, or if highs if they're highs, because over the weekend the main guys aren't trading, the main firms aren't trading. And so sometimes we come down to take these lows. So the SFP into the golden pocket is always good. We also do have our, oh, why did I do that? We also do have our 786. Let's look at that. I'm just going to turn them both on. So if it takes some time, we have our 786 aligning with our, so if we do something like this, maybe a small bounce here, then come down, our 786 aligning with the midline. There. So I would say right at, if we break 211 here, then our next level would be like 209, 208.86 here at the 786 and the channel midline. Now, to be looking for continuation, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If we even, well, that would be breaking market structure here on the 2-hour. But if we do come down and overall, like on higher time frames, that would be still higher, making higher highs and higher lows. We would look for bull divs in here, and you'd be looking on low time frames like 6 minute, 15 minute, 12 minute. So that's what we could be looking at there. Actually, let's zoom out here and let's look at the weekly. Let's see if we have any weekly. We do have the weekly resistance up here like most coins do. And we do have the weekly support down here. Let's check our daily out real quick. Okay, so we do have that fresh daily. Now, this daily just confirmed, what, 47 minutes ago. So we have our daily here that we could be looking at now at 213. And then our next daily, so we already hit into this daily. You can see there was a daily here as well at our golden pocket and at the top of our channel. So you can see that we hit that. So that's not naked anymore. The next one would be up here, 238. Okay, let's check this out. Let's do this daily here. And let's change this back, this bigger fib pull. We're going to change it back to a golden pocket. No, that's not right. That's not in a good alignment either. So I would say this daily, you could keep it on the chart, but there's probably not a lot of confluence there. Let's see. Nothing much as far as naked dailies there. Yeah, so for Solana, we are at resistance. We might see a pullback from here. It's the top of the channel. It's the golden pocket. It's also the POC of our big range since March 2024 to present day. For local supports, the first local support I'd be watching is this area here at 211. Second local support I'd be watching is I would take these as two separate trades, by the way. That one there, and then you could look at the midline into the 786 here. And then your third one would be down here, the back test of the 382 into the bottom of the channel, into our prior highs. And it's the back test of the value area high, the bigger value area high. Our bigger resistance is going to be up here at 245. We do have a weekly close by to that too. I mean, you could do this. That's kind of a big box there. I might take those as two separate trades, actually. I would probably take it at the 786, the SFP. Well, the SFP into the weekly would be nice. Let's leave that as one box there. All right, so that is Solana. Let's do, okay, you guys, I got to take off in 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do Atom real quick, and then I will do the rest when I get back. Let's see, weekly. All right, so on a weekly time frame for Atom, you can see that we had been in a descending channel here. This is real high time frame stuff. So this channel here pulled it from this low, this last big aggressive low, to the lows of the bear market in August of 2024, bring it up to these first highs here. And we've been trading. You can see how well the weeklies or the midline's been respected even on the weekly. Here we saw a wick past it, held here, lost it, back tested it as resistance here, dropped, made new lows, had the swing failure pattern of the weekly, pumped up pretty much to the top here, lost it to the midline, finally lost the midline, back tested the midline here, rejected, went to the bottom. So, and then now we pretty much rejected from the top here. There was a weekly up there. Actually, that's fresh weekly. Yeah, it's a fresh weekly. And we're holding the midline here now on the weekly. So pretty strong bounce there from this weekly channel midline. Let's go to, and actually what we could do now, we do have a new fresh weekly support level down here. We can mark that on the chart. As far as a volume pull, you could look at all this price action within the channel. I'd say from these lows here, from the first pivot of the channel to here, and we could look at this as well. So You can see we bounced, not only was it the midline of our channel, but it was real close to the value area low here. Let's see, I'm going to do it right at the impulse. Yeah, okay. Value area high rejected us here, rejected us here. We did see some wicks past it, but rejected us overall. POC rejected us here, dropped. It had the back test of not only the channel midline, but it was also the value area low, lost it. We're able to finally reclaim it, and now we're kind of chopping back within this value area. Let's zoom into the daily chart. So each candle's equal to 1 day here. All right, so we hit into that daily resistance today. We do have a daily resistance up here that looks kind of nice. We also have that daily order block right here. So let's mark that out. That's a daily. So right away, that looks pretty nice there. I bet you that's a golden pocket as well. So let's do the fib pull from the highs on the daily to the lows on the daily. Let's do the golden pockets. Okay, it's close. There. Actually, let's check something out here. 45%, that's not that much. Okay. And we can look at our 786. Is that going to be around the weekly? No, it's a little bit below. All right. So I'd say our first level of resistance we could be watching is the POC to the golden pocket area here. Now, depending on how long it takes, if it takes a while, oftentimes we'll chop for a little bit here. We do have the top of the channel again around the weekly here. That's kind of a big box of resistance. I don't know if I would do that there. That daily's not fresh anymore. We took it with this next candle. Let me go back to the weekly chart. I'm just going to hide some of this stuff to get it out of the way. We're going to do a pitchfork pull. Here. We're going to change this to a skiff pitchfork because we're not very high into it. Let's see. Oh, that's no good. That's no good either. All right, actually, we've been in bearish price action on the weekly, kind of making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, so we can do a bearish pitchfork. And what I would do with that is I would go, oh, wrong thing, from these highs here to our low, to our first high here. And we're going to change it to an inside pitchfork here. So you can see the band was respected here. Let me clean some of this up so you guys can see this. All right. Band respected here. Band respected here. Bottom pretty much respected. All right, this is okay. This is not the greatest, but we do have, if we zoom back in now onto the daily chart and we look at the top of the the bottom of the pitchfork here, I do believe it's around that golden pocket pull. 786 pull. Yeah, because it's going to take some time to get there. So that 786 is there. There's some confluence there. Okay, so to the downside, we do have that naked daily around the weekly here, so that's a level we could be watching as a support level here. Do our fib pull from low to high, and let's look at the 382. 382 often acts, yeah, okay. So our 382 right there as well, $7. So this could be a box of support here. Kind of something like this. Let's turn on, okay, that's that fib there. $786 up there. So that 786 is looking kind of nice. This box here, we have our pitchfork here, our POC, and the 786 there, and then we also had our other golden pocket around that POC. Now you can see these last highs before we made our last a really aggressive dump to the downside. We've got semi-equal highs resting here. It looks like 3 of them. So what we can do is, that's important liquidity that's resting above there, because we've had 3 chances. We've got pretty much 3 times the liquidity to take. So we do have our swing failure pattern here as well. So this box actually looks the best here. Let me hide this. I would say our first big box is around 935, because we have our POC there, we have our 786 there, and we have our pitchfork there. So this box here would be a box I'd be looking at as far as resistance goes. We are kind of trading in this same, this is kind of like Bitcoin's, from December 24th to just a couple days ago. This is Cosmos Atom's version of that. And so you can see we are breaking it to the upside. We're coming up to our bigger range value area low that we're back testing now. If we can get above this value area low, we're going to probably continue up to the POC. If we reject from this value area low here, then we need to start looking at the targets. This target here, this target here. We can do a fixed range volume profile pull of just this part of the range here. Yeah, okay, look at our value area low is there too. So we broke our smaller range that Bitcoin kind of broke the other day on Thursday or Friday. We do have the back test of that, which Bitcoin did do over the weekend. It looks like Atom has not done that yet. So $7 would be our first level of support here, 703. And then our golden pocket pull looks like it's around the POC. Let's check that out right now. So from going from low to high here, change our golden pocket. Okay, it's a little bit above it, but yeah, that's nice. Let's do the 786. That's kind of a big box there. If I did this here, I mean, I guess you could expand that box above it, and then you'd have your other target there. Yeah, that looks like that's what I'd be watching locally on Cosmos Atom. And if we break $10, we're probably going to make new highs. We're probably going to go much higher. Our pitchfork band is up here around 1150, 1160, and actually it will be higher by the time we do that. So probably around $12 here will be our next big resistance on that. You could also do the fixed range volume profile of just this last price action here. All right, so we're breaking back within the value area here. Similar volume levels, but just a bit different. Actually, I would pull this. Let's try that. Well, that changes a lot. Okay, I don't like that. I mean, we did have the POC down there as well, so it also shows you that there's volume down here in this box. So those are our 2 local supports. This is our local resistance. If we break that, I would look for the SFP of the highs, but let's see. Let's zoom back out onto the daily real quick. And let's do the fib pull on the daily from the last big daily high here to the lows. All right, so this looks nice too, you guys. This is our next level of resistance if we break 935, that 935 to 937, but this is our next big level here. So we are inside the pitchfork band. We have the value area high, and we do have the 786 there. Now that 786 pull is from the last big daily swing high to the swing low. So that's an important fib pull because you can see that's a lot of price. That's from March's highs all the way down to the bear market bottoms in September. Our 786 is in that pitchfork band there. It's also the value area high of this range here as well. And this is our weekly range of that descending channel that I showed you on the weekly, the very beginning. Where's that at? Did I delete it? Okay, well, you guys saw it. It was just from this low here to this first high and that descending channel. So that's an important resistance there around 12 bucks too, 12.23. 12.23 to like 12.25, 12.20. All right, you guys, I got to take off. That's my TA for today on the alt and Bitcoin. Hope this helps. Everyone have a good day.